I'm sure that when people think of your WWF career, there's one thing that comes to mind. You mentioned earlier on your wife Kimberly was in Playboy, and then you stalked Sarah. Um, so yeah, tell us about that and why you ended up going.
Well, first of all, I'll give you some inside. Some of you probably know it already. The whole hugging thing with McMahon and Austin, I think everybody hugs each other now. But that's where it started. When I had my meeting with Vince McMahon, we sat in traffic, I don't know, 3 hours to get there. It was like Memorial Day weekend, something like that, big holiday weekend. And I flew into New York and then got chauffeured out to Titan. And when I got there, Vince went to shake my hand. And I said, no, I've been waiting for this for 30 years. You're hugging me. And I gave him a hug. And I think that became like a rib later on. Not think, I know. But I came in there with Kimberly. Shane McMahon was there. And they brought me this whole stalker angle. Now, I'm thinking you're looking at Kimberly like, seriously? I'm going to stalk some other chick? But I didn't want to, I was trying to be political. And I was like, well, that doesn't really work for my character. I can understand if I'm doing this to bring out the best in Undertaker, blah, blah, blah. And we go back and forth about it, and they really think it's going to be awesome, blah, blah, blah. And there's another lesson for you. If you're fixated on a goal, like you know exactly how you're going to get there, and you've manifested in your brain, like I've done every single goal in my life, including DDP yoga. It may take a while, but I get it every time. Well, here it is. All I have to say is, nah, that doesn't work for me. Instead of saying what I said, well, Vince, I've got this other idea. And I gave him the idea that I have to digress. About 2 years earlier, I was in Canada for a pay-per-view the same time that WWF was in town for a Saturday night show. And me and Big Show were going to get together and hang out like we always do. And I went to the show. And after the show, because I was up in his Sky booth, he said, do you want to meet The Rock? I said, yeah, I'd love to meet The Rock. Now, at the time, I'm here. The Rock's here. But he's on that super rocket. And I go downstairs with him, and we walk in the locker room, and I swear to God, it's bigger than this whole room. That's how big it is at the Sky Dome in Toronto. And Big Show goes, Rock, where are you at? Because there's nobody in there. And you hear, I'm in the shower. He goes, good, because I got some huge mark who's dying to meet you. So I just flip into character. I go, that's right, I don't want to meet you unless you're naked and your balls are all soapy. Now, I don't know that The Rock suds up like the Michelin Man at the time, but as I come around the corner, he's got his hand out like, who the hell said that? Like he knows the voice, but not there, not in that setting. And when he sees it, he's like, oh, Diamond. I go, I'll see when you come out. So he comes out, and he's just as sweet as could be, talking regular Dwayne Johnson. And I tell him that Jake Roberts told me about him. When he first came in at Rocky Maivia, he said, I don't care what they do with him in the beginning, watch this guy's career. It's going to be stellar. He said the same thing about Stone Cold Steve Austin when he was the ring bearer, and he said the same thing about me in '93. I said, so dude, I was watching your whole career here, and I love what you're doing, and I especially love this little thing you did where you were this guy you're being right now, and then The Rock. And you went back to this guy, and then The Rock. It was really entertaining. So now I'm leaving, walking out the door, and right before I get out the door, I hear, hey, Diamond. And as Big Show gets out of my way, I can see Rock putting on one of his $1,500 Versace shirts. And he says, there's only one people's champion. And Big Show was like, oh. And I just look at him, took that pregnant pause, and said, you know, Rock, you're right. And you, well, you're looking at him. Oh! And I went out the door. So that's in my mind. I don't tell that to Vince. I said, Vince, I'm the real people's champion. I said, Rock ain't here right now. I said, let me show up, kill all the lights in the building. Everybody will think it's Jericho. But 10 seconds in, JR's going, hold on, we've got some technical difficulty. And then you hear for the first time ever, who's the real people's champion? Spotlight. You're looking at him. Bang! Boom, 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 explosions. I go to the ring. I go, Rock's doing that movie. I go, let's shoot that. That's money. And this is where I should have known something was up. Because it went, we really love the stalker thing. Now, when I tell you this is the worst decision I made and the best decision I ever made in my life, I don't say anything. What I should have said was, you know what? It's a great idea for someone else. When you want to do People's Champion versus People's Champion, call me. If I walk out there, get in the elevator, I'm not going to make it to the airport. He would have called me back and brought me right back in. But I didn't do that, obviously. Now, why is it the best decision? You know why it's the worst decision. Taking, you know why it was. Why it was the best decision. It made me a much smarter businessman. And when you get to part where DDP yoga is, and you see why I have what I have right now, and why it's so real, and why I control it, and I had Warner Brothers as my monster partner at one time. How I eliminated them was because I learned to walk away from the table. Always, if that deal don't work for you, thank you, but no thank you, and walk away. I didn't learn that back then. Plus, there was another reason. I was 45. I was beat the up. I was wrestling like I was 26. You go to WrestleMania 18, you watch me and Christian, he's 26 years younger than me, 24 years younger than me. You can't tell. Not the way I'm moving in that ring, but I knew it was only gonna last so much longer. Plus I'm thinking, God, Undertaker, well surely he's gonna sell. Oh, that's right, he's the Undertaker. He don't sell, and that's his gimmick, you know. So it was a bad judgment call on my part. The first day I was there, now when I got to show up in a motorcycle, that was a live night. And if I would have stood right there when Undertaker came down and faced off with him, it would have went totally crazy. But again, they wanted me to leave. And in retrospect, we were the enemy. WCW for 2 years. And we almost put them out of business, like big time. But Austin and McMahon became so hot, it shifted everything, the momentum all the way. So I understood that what Vince was trying to do was show WWF, WCW. And that was the way it was. So I took it like a man and got to work with Christian on the way out. So that was the positive side of my WWE career.